the comment. That's how I knew. Okay, now we're good to go.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so I was saying that this is not like a step-by-step guide, right? Like it's just a breakdown. I'm already making a record of the step-by-step process, right? So that I could drop it on my YouTube page, so anybody who's interested can go and check it out. So we're just going to do breakdown. If I forget to cover anything important, you can ask questions. I'm going to just briefly cover it, right? So the main topic, it's just the what do you call it, the ocean modifier. Like how do we get it look um, to a decent field, you get, so it doesn't look so. Now this PC I'm using, like Uche mentioned, Mr. Uche mentioned, is I think I'm even using one of those Yapi kind of PC, very low end PCs, just to show that we can still do something like of a decent quality, right? No matter the kind of PC that we are using. So I'm just going to go ahead and start maybe like a new project, so that we'll just go with the ocean modifier. Yeah, let's save this. Okay, yeah. So we are here in Blender, the default scene, right? Like normal, the normal ritual. We'll delete that box missing. Let me obey the laws of Blender. Okay, so as usual, I'm going to start with the plane, right? So this is the plane of the base of the water. So I'm not going to scale this up because the ocean modifier has those abilities to make it very large. So I'm going to go to our modifiers and add a modifier, right? So I think it's under regenerate. Or you can just type it. That's the fastest way. Just type ocean, right? You would see it here. Please, if at all you guys can hear me anytime, please just call my attention. Thank you. Yeah, you can see. So immediately you apply the modifier, it's going to like scale up the plane. You can see the difference, right? Yeah, so this is where you start to play with your values, right? You're going to have a default deformation of the plane. And the good thing about this, right, you don't even need to subdivide your plane. It's still going to work. So I'm just going to increase. So we have the repeat axis here, X and Y. So I think I'm using 2 for this. So we're going to just go straight on the Y axis. So if you want on X axis as well, you can increase on this way you get. So it depends on the size you want to cover. So now if you're making this for a shot like the video that I just played, right? It's just a particular shot facing a certain camera angle. So I don't have to create a whole body of ocean in this scene because of course the laptop might not be able to handle it, right? Except you have to pick the textures to your mesh. But in this case, I'm just going to leave it at the shot that I want to use, right? So you have to be very calculative based on your storyboard and all that. So let's just assume that I want my camera angle to be like in this position, right? So I might want to have one more, probably one more water. Let me make this 2 here. So they're big. So I have my camera angle at this shot, right? You can see. So I don't need to have more water here and more water here. So let's proceed from here. So for the resolution, we're going to get this 15. So mind you, the higher the number, the better resolution you get. I don't know if you can see this. You can see, let me take it back to 0. You can see size flat, right? It's like a plane. So when we add a resolution, let's go with 15. You can see. So the higher you go, right, the more it's going to lag your system. So I just go with 15 for default setting, right? So now this resolution here, this one here, is for your viewport, while the render is your final render. So on this render, you can crank it up, right? So this one, I'll just like double it to 30. So it will be times 2 of this one. Let me show you how it's going to look like. You're just going to slow it down, right? But we don't want this. I have more details on the water, right? So, but I'm just going to make it 15. I can go 10 depending on the specs of your laptop, right? So thing, we want it to be more like chaotic based on what you want, right? Mine, I created like a very stormy ocean. So I want this to be very, very busy and all that, right? So we are going to still play with some more settings like the depth. Let's say depth at 200, scale at 1. Let's see. I think we'll go to waves. Let's go to waves and see waves. So let's try the scale of the waves. I'm going to try for 3. You can see. You can see how it looks like, right? So the value of 3 on the waves determine how stormy you want the ocean to be. If you take it lower to like maybe 0.1, it's still flat, right? 1 has some level of detail. So I'm going to go with 3 for this. So this is a stormy outside one, right? So next, we want it to animate to have that stormy vibe. So to animate it, right, you can use the value of time here. So you could set a value of 1 keyframe in your frame 1, right, and take it to the end frame to whatever frame you have. Let's like 250. Let me just make mine like 100 just for this practice, right? And you might just set your time to like maybe 10 at frame 100 and set a keyframe. But I think that's a long process. So what you do, just write a value, right? Just write like what is that? I think hashtag frame. Just write it this way. Frame, then just let's use divided by 50 and press enter. So it's going like with like a driver set to automatically animate your ocean without you keyframing, you get. So when you press play, you have this movement. So you get, so what's happening now is dividing our frame. So when you can play with the number, you can try maybe 10, 30, any number, you see the speed is going to give to you, right? So I'm just going to leave it at divided by 50, right? So when you press play, you have this. So it saves you time from animating the water movement. You can see how it looks like, right? Good. All right, next thing, okay, let's go to see how it looks like in the shading tab. It's going to look all bland, right? Let's go to pick a color. Let's pick a like a blue color. Show your color, right? You can just go to internet and just I think it's back.
Hello, sorry. Sorry,
Yeah,
you're
Joe,
cracking, so we can't really
yeah, it's
hear what you're
breaking.
saying.
Yeah. So Joe, can you hear me? Your internet is kind of lagging really bad.
Okay, sorry, I think my network cut me up. Can you
Yeah,
guys
we
hear
can
me?
hear you now. We can hear you now. It was bad for a while. Can you go back like a few minute steps because like we didn't hear that part, some parts.
Okay, hello, can you?
Yeah, we can
Yes,
hear you,
I can
but
hear you.
we can hear you now. But your screen has cut off.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, I just got to try it again. Okay, so where do you guys hear me last? So I'll know where to go back and start from.
I think we stopped where you added a principled BSDF material, but we didn't hear
Oh,
after. Yes.
okay. Okay, cool. Okay, yeah. So what I was saying is that after adding the material, right? If you're not so sure of the color to pick from, right, you could also go to the internet. You could go to the internet and look for. You could just type ocean color X code, right? And you see some basic code I can use. You can see this, right?
Yes, we can
Can
see
you my
it.
screen?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So you can just copy this code, right? If you type deep blue or any kind of ocean you want, deep blue ocean, you see a code, just copy the code and you can come back to Blender, right? So in the base color here, you see hex here. Click on hex, and then you can just paste the code here, right? Just Control V it and enter. You see, you get that color that you go online, right? So it might look weird at first, but just continue. Later, you can always adjust it as much as you want, right? Right. So let me just name this ocean. I'd like to name my color and materials. So one more thing. So I'm going to change the IRR, right? So IRR is index of refraction, right? And the IRR of water, it's I think it's 1.33, maybe 333, right? And then I'm going to something that will make it very, very different. So the transmission, right? Turn on the weight to 1. So you have, can you see the difference?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hello? Yes, so you can see it's not more looking just plan and bling. It's giving a little bit of depth to it, right?
Yeah, it
So
looks darker now, like a sea.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's not looking like that plain baby color, but it's still that same color, just that we added transmission. So this transmission is making light pass through because water allows light to pass through itself. So that's what we just did in a very simple way without complex node setup. So that's what I just did. So now to get those waves vibe that we had, this white water wash that from the ocean to make it more believable, right? So let's go back to the modifier, right? So there's something called foam, here. Let's open it up and check foam. So when we check foam, right, we have something called data layer. We'll just probably just call it a name. Let's call it foam. You can give it any name. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. So for the coverage, I'm just going to put some 0.2. So as the water animates, right, we're going to have like the more the water becomes very busy and stormy, right, based on the animation, the more the foam covers. So that's why we're not putting so much. But now we're not going to see it until we connect the attributes to this water setup. So let me just show you how to do that real quick. If you have any question, please just feel free to interrupt me. This is not like a classroom or something. Are we good?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so let's add something here. Let's add a new node called attribute. So this attribute is going to allow us to take these data layer options into this part here. So if you come here, you can just either copy the name or you can type it yourself. So I'm just going to copy it, Control C, and just paste it here to have the value here. Right. So I'm going to let me add one more. Let's add all around. So let's drop it here. So I'm going to be connecting from the color attributes to factor of this one here. So let's add a mix shader. Shift A. Sorry, an add shader I would do because we want to blend these two together. So let's connect this. Sorry, let me just give me time to arrange my stuff. I can do in a certain way. Yeah, let's just drop this here. Okay. And then I'm going to have my emission. Shift A. Let's type look for emission. The emission. So let's drop it here. So let me unplug this for now. Let's take this up here. Don't worry, I'm still going to show you everything so you don't get confused. Just trying to arrange everything. So I'm going to connect color to emission. Then I'm going to connect the emission to the bottom part of the add shader so that I don't know if you can see the noise now. The white, the foam from the water. Can you see it? Can you guys see it?
Yes.
Yes, you can
Yeah.
see it.
Okay, yeah. So this is the connection, right? So we have our attributes, which we already have here from our foam layer here, foam, right? This is it here, foam. So it's connected to the factor of color ramp, because why I use color ramp, because I want to have a slider to drag to control the amount of foam that I need. This is too much. So I can use my slider to adjust the amount. Can you see? It's kind of like adjusting to how you want it. You get. So this is the reason why I'm using color ramp here, to reduce the amount. You can animate it or just edit it anytime you want. So to bring back our color, right, we just connect this from printable BSDF back to this first input for the art shader. We see we have our color, and we also have our foam. So you can just play with this color ramp to control the amount of foam you want in your ocean, right? So that's up to you. So one more thing, water is very, very reflective. So this is still very base that I use. So let's increase our roughness. So just take it to 0. So that it's very, very, you can see, want to be very, very shiny, because that's how water is basically. So we have that. Yeah, so I think that's just the basic setup for the ocean. Let me show you everything again so you can see it properly. So are we good with this? Can I move on?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Cool. So we have our ocean, and it's also animated. You get, when you play it, you see it moving in your scene right here. So what was the next thing that we'll uncover here? Okay, so
So
how
can
to
I
make
ask?
an
Can I,
okay, sorry, please ask.
the ocean modifier is me. Richie, I wanted to ask. So will the can you control how turbulence like from a calm sea to a very turbulent sea and back to a calm sea? Like, can you
Oh
frame
yeah,
that
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
in the?
Yes,
Oh,
yes, you can.
okay.
You can. Let me just show you how to do that. Okay, so you can do that from here. Just I think from the scale you get from the, remember I said this, the scale controls the size of the weight. Can you see? So it's very set to, so meaning on frame 1 you could leave it at maybe at 1, and then set the keyframe here, right? By clicking this white button here, you can see I have a keyframe on the timeline. Then let's say at frame 20 we want it to get stormy. So let me just say at frame 16 I'll set on that keyframe. Then at frame 20 is going to just spiral up, take it to like 3, back to how we had it, right? And set the keyframe. So from frame 1 to 15 will be calm, then to frame 20 you're going to get stormy. So you're going to be playing, moving gently, and then can you see? So although you have to basically space, you have to like space your keyframe so it's not very abrupt. You understand? You space your keyframe, you just take time to play and see what works, so that it is in gradually. You get?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So you could just do that way. All right. Let me just delete this keyframe. All right. I think the second important thing is how to make it float. So let me reduce my viewport resolution so that it's playing faster. So it's faster now. I just take it back to 10 in my viewports. So it's playing faster now. All right. So next thing, how do we make an object float? So I'm not going to use a ship. I'm just going to use a random object for that, right? So first of all, you add like a plane to wrap it on the ocean. So you should add a plane somewhere in this thing here. Here. So let me just bring it up. So I'm going to subdivide it. I think this is fine. So I'm going to maybe just call it wrap. So I have a name for it in the outline now. So I'm going to add a shrink wrap modifier in your modifier style shrink wrap. So the target is going to be, of course, our ocean. So let me rename this plane to the ocean. So we'll have everything set up. Okay, so we have this. So we need to create like a vectors group for this. So let's select the plane, right, and go back to our object mode. See here, right here. So go to your object data, which is here. Create a new vectors group. Just assign it. So go back to your object mode and then go back to the modifier. So under the vectors group, you can select the group there, wrap. Right, I think this wraps way more better. So I think start to keep it this way like this. So I'm using the wrap method project. I think it's wrapped way better than that. So if you play now, you can see it's following the side of it's following the waves of the ocean. Let me scale this, make it bigger so you can see it better. Take back the frame 0 and play. You can see, right? So it's following. So all you need to do is just to bring an object to parent it to this plane, and then you're good to go. For example, right, let's bring in a torus. Let's bring a torus. And just make it very thick. So let's bring a torus to this scene. Yeah, like this. Let me shake smooth. We're gonna have like a floating torus in our scene, right? So I'm just going to add a what do you call a constraint. So I'm going to go to constraints, add a constraint. We're going to use child of. So that's it. We're going to target the wrap. And then we're going to create like a vectors group for this torus as well. So select the torus and press tab and go to your object data and add a new vectors group for it and assign it, right? And go back and just go back to your constraint and select that group. Click assign better. So sometimes it snaps to a default position, right? You click on set inverse. So it comes back to the original position. So I think when you play now, right, you will have it following the waves. So at this point, you don't need the plane anymore. You could just hide it from your outliner and then hide it from the camera so it doesn't show in your render. So now you have anything you want it to float in your scene. Did you guys have any question?
Yes, I do it. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Thank you. So I was just wondering why we can't parent this particular object to the key directly. We need to bring in another claim, just like the one we did from the camera, before we can parent it. It wouldn't work with the parent this to the key direct.
Okay, you're not very audible. Well, like I think I'm trying to. You said if you use them, really control P parenting.
No. What I mean is, can't we constrain this particular object that is on top of the tree now to the tree instead of adding another object, the one you just see now, instead of adding that one, can't we parent this parasource or whatever it's called to the tree? It wouldn't work like
Okay,
that.
okay, yeah, like that's a good question, but to be honest, right? I'll be honest with you, I've not tried that yet, but it doesn't sound like a good idea because you're parenting it. The C alone has a lot of movement. So parenting an object to the whole movement, I think it's going to cause some kind of like some annoying animation that you will not like. So it's better to parent it to an object that has a control. Because now, right, when you do that, trust me, you can't animate it. But now in this case, right, I can animate this wrap option, right? Just like how, okay, now how do you move the boat about? This is what you animate the wrap. Did you understand?
Okay.
Yeah. So because so the next I'm trying to show you, right? So if you animate this to move around, you can see it's following the waves and the height of the mesh. So you can select the wrap, right? I cannot go to maybe frame 1, depending on when your keyframe. And then let's set the keyframe. Into the keyframe, and just use lock rot. And then let me go to like maybe frame 50 and then take it forward. Right? It doesn't matter anywhere you want it to be, you're going to go. And then set a new keyframe. So you can see it's definitely going to follow. Can you see? Yeah, so I think this is just one of the advantages I would say of pointing it to a smaller object. So you can have more control. Do you understand?
Thank you.
You can have more control. So I'm trying to like give it like a more archy, so you can see. And it's following, can you see? So we have it following the waves. So that's just how to go about having your objects on the surface of the ocean. So let's proceed. Let's proceed. What other thing? What other thing? I think the volumetrics, right? So let me see. Let's go back to our shading tab. Let me add the materials to this storage so we don't have a white stuff. And just add a random. This one does not really matter what is here. Make it like a plastic floating in water. Okay, yeah. So one thing that makes your renders, right, different from some like music renders, it's a volume. When your scene has volume, you'd have a certain vibe. So volume is just all those fogs and the rest. So you create a certain level of depth in your scene. So how to do that? I'm just going to use a cube for that. I'm going to use a cube and scale it up. So we are basically just creating fog in a simple tense, right? So let me just make this big. You just make sure it's covering the part that you want it to cover. If you want to cover all the water, it's fine. Mind you, the bigger it is, the more performance is going to tell on your system. I'm just going to make it this way. So I want to be able to see what is happening inside. So I'll change the viewport style. I'm going to go to object data here and go to visibility. Sorry, viewport display. Change it from texture to wire. So we have this. So I can still see what's happening inside. So let's go to our shading and have a basic shader for it. So let's add a new material for this. I'll just name this. Let me just name it fog. Fog, right? I'm going to delete this and add a principled volume. Just look at it here. Principled volume. Just drop it. Connect it to, now not surface this time. You connect to volume because you want your volume, right? So on your density, we're going to change the value. The lesser the number, the better you see it. Let's try 0.05. 0.05. Let's go to our material so you can see it. You can see we have some kind of dark cloud here, right? So to make it brighter, we can play with our emission strength. So let me, I think I use 0.006. You can see it. It gives it a very, very dramatic scene going right here. So you play with your density. If it's too much for you, of course, you're going to reduce the number. You can see. Just play with the intensity value. You try 1 here. You can see. So I have some amount of fog in my scene. So that is 1. Now, what I did, right, I created like 2 types of fog. I don't know if you can open up the other scene, so I'll show it to you guys. Maybe that'll be faster. Let me see. I'm going to bend down this computer. Just one moment. Okay, sorry, a moment. Let me reduce the resolution of this option. So it moves very smooth. I'm going to show you the. Right, you can see. So this, I have in two cubes here for the volume. One has like animated noise. It has like a pattern noise setup. So I have one for the plain fog and one for the turbulence, so that at it the wind is moving fast, we have like it's simulating kind of like wind or breeze blowing. Let me just show you how I did that quickly. So here, so what I'll do, I'm going to just duplicate this guy. Just use Shift D, and then just move this one. Let me go back to my layout. I'll just move this. So I have two now. Let me just make it smaller. So we have two. So let's go back to our shading to change the texture by one. All right, so we're gonna add like a noise texture on this one. So mind you, now because these two they are sharing similar material setup, right? We need to disable them because if I do anything on this one, it will affect the second volume. To break the link, just click on this number 2 here. It's going to break the link and say I have for 001. So this one I'm going to add like a noise texture. Shift A. Let's add our noise texture. Let's add it here. Let's add the color ramp to control the value. Add the color ramp here. Right. So now I'm going to connect my color ramp to density, and then let's connect the noise factor from here to the color ramp factor. So we're going to like play with the noise value. So we're going to change it from 3D to 4D. So what this does, right, it makes the noise animated without you doing any keyframe. Right, so let's play with some values. So for the scale, we're just going to try, you can try any value that works. I'm just going to go with 20. Let's go with 20. And then detail, I'm going to go with 15. Yeah, I think that's it for now. Don't worry, it's all dark here. We need to change some settings here. So let's take the color ramp slider down to this point, the point I can see it. So I don't know if you can see the noise affecting the volume. So this is what we want, something like this. So this is going to be animated based on the animation that is playing. You serve as a wind. So to make it brighter, of course, you can play with your emission strength. Sorry, yeah, the emission strength. You can play with the strength here. Let me try like 5. I think it's too much. Just do something that works. 0.20. Let's try 2. Yeah, 2 works. You also play with your color as well. Not like a blue, kind of things up a bit. And then one last thing, you can add your press Control T to add your mapping nodes. You can control the scale of your textures. You understand? Depending on how you want it to be, you get like see cloud and all that. So you can add this here. So I think that's just the setup for this aspect. So when you play now, the issue is that right here in the viewport, when I play, I might not be able to see it until I render. So even if I play right here, you might not be able to see it because of the viewport. But it's actually this cloud is going to be animated to add to that drama in your scene. So it depends on if you want it. It's not compulsory. You might not like it. You might want to work with this one alone, and all fine. This guy here is still fine. So depending on what you want, I'm just showing you just in case you might need it in certain projects. So, do you guys have any question?
Yes, I think I
Okay.
have a couple actually.
All
I'm
right.
sorry I'm
That's fine.
bringing one back,
It's fine. It's
but I
okay.
think I'm starting from the plane on the ocean, right?
Yeah.
After we added the torus, I remember you said we should create a vertex group. A vertex
Yeah.
group for what exactly I wasn't sure. I don't think I caught that part. I was able to get it. And I think I'm trying to work as you're working as well, right? I can't
Oh,
see any of the clouds or the fog that is
you
supposed
can't
to
see
be
what?
created here. I said the fog and the
Yeah.
clouds, the volumes, they aren't showing at all as I'm working on it. Like I can't see any of them in my
Okay. Are
reports.
you have to turn on your material shader. You have to be in your material
My
shader right
material
here.
sheet is on.
Yeah. Like, are you far from your scene? If you are far like this, you don't see anything. You can see mine. I can't see anything until I go in it to see it.
Okay, but I'm currently in the scene and I also still can't see any volumes. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong.
Okay. Maybe you can check. Look at just take a glance at the density. What value do you have in your density? Is it C minus 0.005? At
Yes,
least for
it
the first
is.
one. Then is it connected to the volume, not surface?
Yes, it's connected to volume.
Then it's supposed to work. Except maybe some technical issues you're having with your PC. It's supposed to work. It's supposed to. Don't worry. Maybe we might troubleshoot after the session, so we don't take too much time. Is that fine?
Thank Yes, please. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. We can troubleshoot. Yeah, you can just share your screen with me. Then I'll fix it for you. Okay. Yeah. So
I
I'll
have
just.
a
Okay.
question too. Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm more concerned about rendering it. Can you bring in the camera? Let me see how you can cover everything with your camera, because I think I have issues with the camera setting. Most
Okay.
times when I bring in the camera, like I might have to zoom in before I can get every part. And the more I zoom in, the more whatever I have in my scene is no longer seen. I don't know why. So please, I'd like you to bring in the camera like
Okay.
you're ready to render. Yes. So I'll see your
Okay.
setting. Okay.
Okay, all right. I mean, I think that's pretty much the last aspect I'm even heading towards, right? I think we all know how to do cloud simulation, I guess, because covering that will take more of our time for the flag. So let's see if we have more time. I can just quickly show that for the flag, anyways. So for that aspect, right? So let me just add the camera. Let's add the camera. Let's show the camera. So the camera here. Where's that shortcut? Yeah. So here's my camera. I just did them Control Alt 0. It's going to snap to my viewport, right? So you can see. So let me just lock it. Go to View and lock it. So you can see. So you pick a shot that you want. Let's say like this now. Can you see? You can see. You can pick a
Okay.
shot. Can you see now? In
So,
fact, let me
yeah.
let me select my camera. So one thing you can do, you can block out all this part, so you don't have to see any other thing for distraction. You can go to I think viewport display or view visibility. Wait, that thing first. Sorry, go to your camera here. Camera data here, and go to your. I think is it wait that thing. Supposed to be viewport display.
Pass something.
Yeah, it's supposed to be viewport display. Yeah, see it here. Pass out, pass out. Right. So when I increase it, so it's reduce the distraction from the scene. Do you get? So you're more
Okay.
focused on the part that you're
Oh,
seeing. Do you get?
okay. Okay. Now, is it
Yeah.
possible to increase your camera to cover all the part of the screen? Do you understand?
Like
Like increase the camera. Like you want to get everything you have in your scene. Is it possible?
to increase it. Like yeah, you,
Like
you could you could
I don't
you
want
need
to
to like
focus
zoom
on.
out.
No. If you zoom out, you're not covering.
Okay.
Like expand your camera
Yeah.
to
So
cover.
well,
Okay.
I think there are two ways. You could just either you zoom out or you play with your focal length. You understand? This is your camera focal length. You're right there.
Yeah.
On
Yes.
default is 50 mm. You get? Can you
Yes.
see?
Yes. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if that answered your question though.
Hello, Mr. Joel.
Yes.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening, guys. So
Yeah.
what
Yeah, again, Sergio.
is to show the whole of the viewport real estate. But the thing is, Victoria, if you had to expand that, you can do that in the output section. But
Okay.
you would have been changing the aspect ratio of the outputs that you're supposed to have. So you know for every post there is a particular aspect ratio you want to have. So if you want to expand it to what that viewport gives you, you are tampering with the aspect ratio. So the solution would be what is said to zoom out so that you can see the most part of the viewport. So when you zoom out with this particular aspect ratio, you will see every other thing that needs to be that you want to see in that viewport. It doesn't necessarily have to cover the whole thing. And for Shalom, you were asking for the what's it called? That when your camera goes close to the viewport, it starts seeming like it's
Disappearing.
disappearing.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
So it's viewport clipping. That can be done in your when you press N key on your
Okay.
keyboard. That side panel, you go to the
Yeah.
view section.
Okay.
When you press N key, the
I
side
think
panel
Yeah.
will come. You go to the
here.
view.
You see
Yeah.
Yeah,
here, right
you go
here.
to view. Yeah, so you go to the clipping, just add a couple of zeros to the end and couple of zeros to the dots of the start. It will solve that problem. So just have like maybe 0.00001 and instead of 1,000, maybe 10,000 or 100,000, you will solve that problem.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay. Yes. Thanks so much,
But
Mr. Joe.
increasing the clipping is also going to affect the system. Too
Yeah.
much.
I wasn't thinking. I thought you were talking about the fog not showing, not that the scene is clipping at all. I didn't know it was clipping, but I hope that solves it.
Yes, yes. I think that's the problem I have. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Great. So thank you, sir. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, okay. So one last thing, right? So you can add your if you have more time, right, of course you add some more. Let's say we have some mountains back there. You could use image as plane, add them, or you could just if you have mesh, you could add them to cover the sides. But for what I did, I used a HDRI, right? Because it's a very simple stuff I was trying to create, nothing complex. So I just went to let me see if I still have that HDRI here. I go to my wall, right, Shift A and add an environment texture node right here. Yeah, let's see. Do I still have that sky textures? I'm making it on my scattered files. Somewhere this one. I can't even remember that stuff. Yeah, I think I used this one. So I used added Control C so that I could control the rotation of the page there because I wanted a part that the clouds are kind of showing, right? Then again, I have to also reduce the strength because I don't want it to be very bright. I want it to be very dark. Let me try 0.1. Try 8.0. Let me try 0.07. 0.07. Yeah, so I wanted something that the cloud will still show. Do you understand? So I always reduce the strength of my HDR and complement my lighting with adding a sun because that's kind of like adds more vibe to it. Coming 0.005. Yes, something like this. And then I add like a sun to complement the lighting. So let's check out our sun. Just going to rotate it for some shade. So I want to turn on contact shadow for better shadow because I use EVs for the rendering, nothing serious. I use EV for it. Right. Okay. So this is it. Right now, it's giving that very dark, stormy night and whole vibe. If you see dark for you, of course, you play with the strength value. So I think let me just make this more. I don't need create this create. So let me just leave this for now, right? So let me leave this way. What else do I do? So I'm going to go to my render settings, turn on this default ambient occlusion, screen space reflection, motion blur is very important. So then for volumetric, I'm going to use tile size of 2 pixels. So it gives better volume renders when you have your pixels. So the lower the numbers, the better visuals you get when you have like all those volume fogs in your scene. So this is just one thing that I usually do when rendering with EV. And then the final render, I even use the lower samples. I use like sample of like 10. I'll just leave. Let me just see this as 10. So I'll render an image because what I did finally, I added like a compositing layer, added like a lens distortion to give that vibe that I want. So then one last thing, I added a camera, what do you call it, depth of field. So I'm going to focus it on the object. So it gives the background blur. So let me just go a little bit closer to it to have a more cinematic shot. So for the f-stop, I took it down to like, I think a 3.9. So I have a very, very blurred background and foreground. You get. So let's just have something like this. What else? Okay, so I think let me just render an image. So we just test for the compositing aspect. Let's go to render image. Let's see. So there are times that your animation of maybe your ship or whatever is floating in the scene might not be so wavy as you want. For me, like the boat, I still added some manual keyframe to make it tilt left and right to be very, very dramatic. So in that aspect, right, you can just select the ship itself or parent it to an empty and add a keyframe as it goes down. I'm trying to just get it like a single image render so we can do the compositing part. So we probably call it a day. Website. It's quite slow because I'm running on my battery. Okay, yeah, I think we're done here. So we can see you have a simple switch. You can see this my shot is still looking like bright and all that because you adjust the lights of your HDR and your sun to match the time of the day that you want, right? So I'm going to close this. You want to have that, right? I can now go to my compositing layer, go to compositing. So let's add a node right here. And my system is quite slow. I hope this is not rendering again. Okay. All right, so we're going to add like a viewer node so you can see it bigger. So let me confirm it's not rendering because I don't know why it's slow. Okay. So let's pardon me, render is just acting funny. It's acting slow here. Okay, yeah. So we have the shot here, right? So what I did to add some more effects to it is to add like a lens distortion. Let me see if I can join these nodes together. Let's see, how did I even do that thing too? Oh my god, she's hanging. Buzumano, Ojo, do you guys remember how to join nodes together?
What do you think?
To join nodes together.
What node?
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
It's supposed to join, but it's cutting it off.
Composition on compositing.
Yeah, like.
What do you want to add? Is it Bloom?
No, just to join this too. It's supposed to work, but I don't know why it's not.
I've forgotten the shortcut for that thing. I've forgotten.
Okay. Anyways, don't worry.
Sorry, no idea here as well.
Okay, that's fine. So I'll just add. Let's continue. I'll just add a lens distortion node here. So let's add the lens distortion node. Yeah. I'll find my way around it. I'll just do the manual way. So I'm just going to connect this to here as well. Right, so the value I'm going to add here, I'm going to use 0.02 for this. And then for distortion as well, 0.02 for this. So if you observe something in most cinematic films, right, they have their lens distorted. It's a little bit stretched at the end. Take note of every cinematic movie you watch, right? And they have this like RGB distortion at the end of the screen. Let me see if we can zoom into this one. I don't know if you can see this right here. Around here, you can see some distortion around the edges of the screen. I don't know if you can see it. So if I should, so okay, I think there's an issue here. At the edge of the screen, we have these black lines. So to take that away, just click on fit here. It's going to stretch it to fit the screen. Yeah, you're going to stretch it and it's all good. So stuff like this, little stuff like this can add a little bit more aesthetics to your final render. So once you've done your compositing, of course, you can do some color correcting here and all that, but I don't do it here. I do it in maybe DaVinci or Premiere Pro. Once you've done this setup, you can now go ahead and set up your render. I'm sure everybody here knows how to render. So you can do your image sequence, set your output where you want to save it in, give it a name. Yeah, and then you could just go and render your animation. So of course, so all the whole timeline and your camera animation is going to render with this node, with this compositing setup, and you have your final output for your video renders. So I don't know if you guys have any questions. Because I know there are certain things that I couldn't cover, but I'm still going to cover it in the step-by-step tutorial, like the flags and animations, even the camera shake. I'm still going to cover that in the final video, which I'll send to the group. Do you guys have any questions for me before we call it a day?
Yeah, Mr. Joe.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask, when you started, in place of using the child constraints, could we also make use of parenting using Control P? Would this make any difference?
That does not really work for some weird reason. Control P does not work with that stuff for some weird reason, to be honest. So you could either use this one. So you could either use copy location and copy rotation so that the ships follow the location and rotation of the wave, or whatever object follows the rotation and location of the waves. But I think for me, just too much to be doing like two constraints together and then doing it. So for me, I just use child of. Since when I discovered this child of, right, to be honest, I hardly use Control P because this one does way better. For example, if you have like a character for maybe mix ammo, I want to print like a weapon or something to his hands, right? this shadow works very, very well with it. And you can also animate it off and on, of like picking object and dropping it. You understand? You could animate it using the influence here. At 0, it's inactive. At 1, it's active. And then you can turn off the axis you don't want it to be enabled. So I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, it does. And regarding the hotkey you were talking about, I think you were referring to Shift plus right mouse button.
Yeah, I think that was it. So Shift plus right mouse button, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me even try to see if it's gonna work. I was trying. I think yeah, it works. Yeah, thank you. I was using Alt, so Alt was cutting it. Thank you. Yeah, thanks. So, any other person?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you for the class. And please, I want
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, thank
the second plane you added that enables the servers to float. And I actually was able to follow up when we talk about we adding the vectors and all that. I couldn't get it. Now you add the string wrap modifier. I don't know how you did the setting.
Okay,
That's my
is
question.
it on the plane? This plane?
The plane, yes, sir.
Okay, so how I added the vectors group?
Yes. After you add the
Yeah, so you just
wrap modifier.
yes. So
What
I
is
just went to my edit mode, right? Your voice is breaking. Am I the only one that is not hearing me very clearly?
Yeah, it's really breaking.
this is my network?
So can you try to speak slowly so I can hear you?
Okay, I said after you said we should go to edit mode. I was asking after you added the plane, the plane, then you add the string wrap modifier. So I want
Yes.
to take how did you do this? How did you do the setup?
Okay, yeah. So just watch my screen now, right? So in edit mode
Okay.
you have this, right? In edit mode you have this. So all the whole vertex are selected. So you go to your object data, this upside down triangle. You add a new vertex group, right? If you like, you can rename it. So click on assign. Once you assign it, right, you can now go back to your modifier, right? And then you let me go back to my object mode so it doesn't confuse you. Yeah, so you're going to select your targets, which is the ocean, right? You understand? Then for the vectors group, this is where you're going to click to assign that vectors group that we've just created previously. You get. Then for one last thing, I use wrap method. I use project. So you could sample any of this. They all work, but just do the one that works for your specific needs. You understand? So for me, I think project works better for me. So just make sure the plane is in the same lowest level of the sea, so it
Okay.
catches every waves.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other question? But if not, I'll just hand over to Mr. Uche.
All right. If there's no question, this has been a very interactive class. Even I too learned a lot. So like promised, this class is recorded, so we're going to share the link for you to go back on and watch it. I'm sorry you can hear a lot of noise. I'm outside. I came to market with my wife. We have to do 3D and also go to market too.
On Sunday.
It is, yeah. Anyway, so I have to come to I mentioned found out I was not teaching today. I was not doing anything to say, okay, let's go to market now. Because on Monday, obviously, I'll go to work. So since there's no question, any questions you have, we can still continue this conversation in the group. And like he said, he's going to make a detailed tutorial that he's going to share from his own YouTube page to our group. So you can have like a step-by-step following tutorial. And then you can also go back to this breakdown video too to help you get like both advanced overview and tutorial. If you already know the tutorial from scratch, you can use the overview breakdown to help you. So that's that about the class. And thank you all for showing up. Without any other question, I will be ending the class now. Thank you so much for participating. I will share the link to the group for this video by tomorrow. And I appreciate you all. And the conversation can happen to continue in the group. You can reach out to join the group and go to his Instagram, follow him up and ask any questions you want continuously about this topic if you want to. If you have time, he will reply. Thank you so much, everyone.
All right. Have a great time, everyone.
Right. So I'll be ending the class now. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.